The military has vowed to resist anyone or group of persons threatening Nigeria's democracy as the nation awaits the May 29 handover. Director of Defense Information, Brigadier General Tukuru Gusau, who stated that the peaceful conduct of the general elections, despite disturbances in parts of the country engineered by outlawed groups like the indigenous people of Biafra and others, was a testament to the military's resolve to ensure military across the country, or security across the country. The military has also promised to collaborate with the DSS to thwart the plans of the identified plotters agitating for an interim government over their dissatisfaction with the outcome of the 2023 polls. That's the crux of our discussion next. Joining me in the studio is security consultant Darlington Umoru. It's nice to have you join me this morning.
My pleasure any day, Mike.
Great. And we also have a security expert, Roy Ohideve. It's nice to have you join me as well.
Thank you very much for the opportunity.
All right. Now, the last election, general election, had thrown up a lot of debate in the air. And the society, now we see how concerned some people are. We've seen the tense nature of conversations around how people feel. The DSS came out to raise an alarm recently that some people are planning to, are calling for the national interim government, you know, and so on. So all of these things are making Nigerians to be concerned. Recall too that some aggrieved persons from the last election had said that May 29th, handing over or inauguration of the new president should not hold. That if he holds, then there will be no government after that time, and all of that. Let me start with you, Darlington. I wonder what you interpret with that, because Nigerians who are not experts, who don't understand these things, are concerned. Some are already getting scared. Some even have talked about intensifying their effort to japa from the country.
Apparently, that's one of the reasons those who are heating up the polity are doing so. That's one of the things they want to achieve. Instill fear in the people, create some measure of insecurity amongst the people, and then everybody, most people will be worried. Let me take you back a little. All of this started when, before the elections, where some pastors made some predictions. Predictions, or I call it predictions, they call it prophecies.
What's the difference?
Well, I don't know. I leave that to the viewers to differentiate.
Okay.
They had said certain things, that the elections will come. There will be the results of the elections will not be accepted, and then there will be an interim government. That's the end of it, which meant that the president-elect, by their own understanding or by their own projections, would not be accepted. And so there will be an interim government. They even took it far to where we would not want to tread again. As a result of all of that, the elections did come. A winner emerged. Talking about the presidential elections now. A winner emerged. Two other horses, it was 3-horse race. Two other horses are insisting that they are winners and they should be declared winners. And so one of the mistakes people make when they make statements, they do not consider the security implication of statements they make. And they also fail to understand that the statement you make publicly could attract security agents to you. And they could begin to monitor your activities and then begin to follow up on some of these things. That's how intel is gathered. And that is the responsibility of the DSS, the security police. But I am not happy this morning speaking on this matter. I'm not happy because the DSS has not helped us. Hitting the polity more is what they have succeeded in doing. Another thing they have succeeded in doing is helping the culprits to take to their heels. In other climes, intel is gathered, investigation is conducted, and then persons are arrested and prosecuted. You do not release your intel to the public before proper investigation and arrest are made. In other climes, that is the procedure. But here, what we have is intel is gathered, intel that is gathered that ought to have been useful to security agents and the military specifically. That intel ordinarily should have remained within a circle, within the circle of security agencies and the military. And then they begin to break it down and begin to do follow-up leads after whoever is responsible and thinking about whatever they are thinking about. But there's an error here. The error is that whoever was thinking about an interim government forgot that the people do not have the power to constitute an institute and put in place an interim government. It is the government of the day that is leaving office that has the constitutional power, if there is any.
Unfortunately, there's none.
I repeat, if there's any. Now, if you want to talk about the limits of whoever is sitting as the chief executive of the country at the time, unfortunately, the Constitution does not provide for that. We have had that experience in the past, only in a military government.
Which is an aberration by itself.
An aberration in its totality, in all ramifications. And so, whoever is thinking that there would be an interim government, whoever is thinking, like somebody said on one of the television stations, not TVC now, that May 29th, if the president-elect is sworn in, that could bring the end of democracy. Democracy that was hard fought and achieved by the people, and many sacrificed their lives. Election is either you win or you lose. It's in two parts. When you go into election, it's like you are going into a football match. Unfortunately, there's no draw in election. Where there's draw, INEC could conduct another election. But in this instance, we have a country that was only coming out from the hazards of terrorists and bandits. We saw a reduction in the activities of all of that, but now they are soaring again. They are gradually returning again because the polity is being heated. Who knows what anybody is doing behind?
All right, let me bring Roy into this. Now, I know you have been listening to all of the narratives from different people, and even for those who are calling for interim government. Now, we all know the history, where we were in 1993, especially those who were born at that time, not the new generation who may not know what happened at that time. And we all saw how it happened and the disadvantage of it as the case may be. But as it is, the military, the police, the DSS, and all the other security agents and agencies that we don't even get to see or know, understand that that cannot be allowed to be. But having that knowledge by the back of our minds, is it when politicians call for interim government, is this something we should all be concerned, or the security agents will just be like, hey, it's not going to work, so there's no need worrying about it?
Well, thank you very much. And it's always a pleasure to sit with my senior learned friend here. And I like his opening remarks, but towards the end, I think I have concerns. Now, if you take the topic that we have this morning, the military, you know, everybody wants to make statements. We have a plethora of agencies in the federal. In the states, we also have other cascading, lower cascading of agencies. But you will hear that the DSS made that statement, properly analyzed by him, picking nobody up. You will hear that the IG came to consolidate on that statement, like 2 or 3 days ago, that, okay, yes, people are actually, you know, and that just took my mind back to when Malami came back to Nigeria the other time, that he has been given a list of terrorist sponsors, organizations, and persons. And this is like 3 years, 4 years on that matter. So this shows us that as citizens, we have agencies that are constrained. Agencies are supposed to be independent. Okay? The DSS, the police, the military, they have roles to play in times of violence, in times of insurgency, in times of rules of engagement. Everybody has a role to play.